This is a weird bike. It's supposed to be a 50, but it sounds like this. And it rides like this. You can shift gears and feel like you're riding a real motorcycle. But you're missing the clutch. And the gears are inverted. So you press down to upshift. And you press down again with your heel to downshift. But look on the bright side. You can ride it with flip-flops. Isn't that the official riding gear for scooters? Shorts and flip-flops? It's called the Shineray Spring X, and online you can also find it as Becane Spring X. By specs is a 50. If you look at the number stamped on the motor, it's actually a 50. Sellers advertise it as 125cc, registered as 50, so you can ride it with a B category license, and the registration is really cheap. So it is 125cc, right? Well, definitely not. You can always count on Chinese bike sellers to oversell stuff. If it was actually 125, they would probably advertise it as 200. But jokes aside, this bike tops out at 85 kilometers an hour and screams its guts out to reach 90. I cannot tell for sure what the real engine capacity is without just opening the engine and measuring, but one interesting thing I found is the carburetor. If you look at the model number of the carb, you can find online that is recommended for engines from 80 to 100 cc. When you look at those numbers, it actually makes sense. It does feel like a 90 cc motorcycle. What I like about this bike is how it looks from the front and from the sides. I also like that it has big 17-inch wheels. It can take potholes and I can actually take it a bit off-road. For what it is, it's pretty snappy off the line and gets to about 70 kilometers an hour pretty quickly. I do like the headlights, but it's a whole unit, so if it breaks, you have to replace the entire unit. And I do love the sound. While we are on the topic of sound, what is up with those Aprilia 50cc that sound like a mosquito on a warm summer night? Do people actually like the sound of a mosquito? Am I missing something here? You know that feeling when you're trying to fall asleep? The window is open and a mosquito gets into your room, just buzzing around? That's exactly how those Aprilia 50cc bikes sound like. Take a listen. Okay, let's get back to the bike. What I don't like about it is the rear tire. It is too thin and visually it just doesn't look good to me. Here is a banana for scale. So I would say it's 2 bananas thick. It is an underbone style of bike, so there is almost no under the seat storage. This barely fits here. It is just my rain gear and some first aid, and that's it. I would actually prefer if they extended the tank over here so it gets double the range, because this space here is completely useless. It would be nice if they added some kind of plastic storage to cover this area and give you some actual space to put things. This has just like a bike rack here. The front brake disc, it's massive, but it's completely useless. It is very easy to lose traction under hard braking, and the rear tire also lacks grip. Honestly, if the disc sizes were reversed, like the front disc were here, because I can very easily lose traction on the front tire, but sometimes if you somehow have grip on the rear tire, the disc doesn't have power to stop the bike. So that was what I don't like about the bike. What I really hate about it is the gear setup. It is reversed compared to a normal motorcycle. You press down to upshift and you press down to downshift. And you cannot put your foot here to downshift like this. You have to use your heel. Because you don't have a clutch, your neutral is not easily accessible. If you are in fourth gear, you have to downshift 3 times to reach neutral. I got used to it, but I don't understand its purpose. The only explanation I could see is that it's actually easier to ride with flip-flops. I also miss having a clutch, because gear changes would be much smoother. Oh, you're still here. You wanna see more of this bike? Alright. The tank on this bike is 3.5 liters. They advertise it as 4.5, but there is no way. The only way you're getting that much fuel is if you carry a 1 liter bottle of fuel under the seat. The fuel consumption is 2.3 liters per 100 kilometers. They also advertise it as low as 1.8, but you will never get that. And with that I get about 150 kilometers per tank. It's not a lot, but then I remind myself that it's a 50cc bike. I would much rather prefer if they use this useless space here to get a bigger tank. You could double the range easily. I almost forgot to mention this one. It is a really stupid design choice. They put the spark plug directly where the front fender ends, and all the water spray goes directly into the spark plug. And on rainy days, it just floods the spark plug and the bike stalls. So that's why I put this duct tape here, so when I ride in the rain or if the road is wet, it protects the spark plug from splashes, and it actually 100% solved the issue I had. And water seems to be the arch nemesis to this bike. Let me show you another thing. If I ride it in the rain or after a power wash, this blinker gets stuck in this position and won't turn off until I dry the bike off. Also, the speedometer has some kind of issue. After I wash the bike with a power wash, it just doesn't work. Cold starts are a bit annoying. The choke doesn't really do much for me. If I don't just hold the gas and rev it for the first 30 seconds or 1 minute, it just won't hold idle on cold days. You have 2 ways of starting the bike. You can just start it electronically with the switch. This has to be pulled out and you just hold the brake. It doesn't matter if it's in neutral or not, because it is semi-automatic, so you just press the button and it starts, usually right away. You can also start the bike with the Kickstarter. And I usually do this when it's cold outside and the bike won't start with the switch. You also have to hold the brake. One thing I didn't mention is that the bike originally had some kind of seat divider here. It was forcing you to sit up front a bit and it wasn't that comfortable. So I removed that, and unfortunately there are some plastic parts here, so I couldn't just remove the entire thing, but you can sit up to here now and it's much better. One other thing I removed is this backrest here. it was over here holding on with 2 bolts. As I mentioned, I ride this thing for vault most of the days, so I couldn't fit anything here. I couldn't fit the backpack, I couldn't fit the vault bag. So what I did, I just removed this and drilled 2 holes over here, and I put this thing here. And the cable is long enough so the brake lights still work. I've had this bike for almost a year now, and it has about 5,000 kilometers on the clock. Nothing major had broken yet, and maintenance is really simple. I do oil changes every 1,000 kilometers, chain lubrication and chain adjustment, and that's it. There are no other filters. I paid about 1,300 euros for this bike, and at that price I don't stress about it. I just ride it, and I ride this thing a lot. I ride it about 50 to 100 kilometers every day. I am riding for Volt, and if you wanna check out a video about how Volt works, check out my channel. I wanted to record the whole video with the helmet because I have a nice spot here to put the microphone, but I tried. I cannot hit my apple with the helmet. I'll put it here. This is really nice. So, would I recommend this bike? Yeah, why not? It's cheap, it's simple, and it actually works. I'll probably make more videos about it anyway.